All right, so I want to give you guys an update on the Propane Belvedere, but before I do that, let's look at some of these other cars that we've got in the works and just bring you up to speed on everything. So we'll start with this one, Ducky's Caprice. So, you know, this is going to get a big block Chevy. He wants to turn it into a drift car. It's going to be a drift car. So here's what happened. Right after we shot those last videos on this, Ducky had a car accident. He got banged up pretty bad. So that put us behind, I mean, way behind schedule now. But he's in one piece, he's up and running, just things aren't going as quickly as we wanted them to. We'll be back on this fairly soon. Mad Maxine. Okay, so this is our project in automotive de-evolution. Now this wasn't supposed to be a project, it was just an idea that I mentioned off the top of my head while filming a different video, and you guys were like, yeah, let's do this thing. So we're doing it, but little at a time. So if you're not familiar, this is an exercise in automotive de-evolution. We're going to take a modern computer controlled car and bring it all back to Stone Age analog stuff, you know, for Teotihuacan, right? You know, the end of the world as we know it. So prepper, bug out, survival vehicle. So I guess it wasn't planned. It's just kind of spur of the moment, so I haven't really dug into it. I have started pulling things off. I grabbed the old intake manifold off of it and started eliminating some of the wiring and whatnot. It's going to get a points distributor. So the next step with this is the intake manifold. So I know, you could just go buy an intake manifold for a 4-liter Jeep. I actually have a carburetor intake manifold for this thing laying in the back over there. But that's not the whole point of this exercise is to convert any vehicle. So we're going to pretend that parts aren't readily available for it and adapt what we can. So the next step on this thing will be the fabrication of the intake manifold with the carburetor base plate and all of that. But it's going to be just a little bit because I do have other stuff that's got to get done first. This wasn't really supposed to be on the schedule. A couple of you guys asked me about Scribbles, the CUDA. Oh, she's still here, now patiently waiting her turn. So I got her up and running and use it as a daily back and forth, you know, from the house to the shop for a couple of weeks. And then she's just been sitting ever since. I don't have any solid plans for this car yet. Dr. Art and I have been kicking around some ideas, some interesting ideas, and I'm not really certain yet what direction we're going to go with it. So she's just sitting for the time being, but we haven't forgotten about her. She's still around. XJs, man, I got XJs for days. Look at this. Dex, I'm catching up to you, bro. I'm catching up to you. So the only one that isn't here is Mission Improbable. She's back at the house. Now, Mission Improbable, Chuck opens on March 22nd, and the goal is to go out there on Mission Improbable. We left off where we did the modifications to the throttle body, and then we had weather come in and the track canceled the last couple of sessions. So we're going to just pick up where we left off there. We're less than 0.4 of a second from our goal with this thing, and we don't know how much of a difference the throttle body made yet. So nothing to do with that until we can get out and run it, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm confident we're going to get our 899 eighth mile time slip out of that thing, pretty much just the way she sits. I'm almost certain of it, but we'll see. March 22nd, weather permitting, of course. This time of the year, you never know what's going to happen. So that's all the outside stuff. Okay, so in here, Slaghammer. Well, I mean, I wish I could say it was something cool or interesting or different we were going to do with this car, but no, she's good just the way she is. And sitting here ready to go out again. There's really not much to do with this car except go have fun with it. And honestly, that's all I really want to do with it. Just go have fun. We've been taking little nibbles out of it, tuning and stuff like that. She's had a few bugs, but I think most of them are worked out by now. And we'll just, like I said, she's just there to go out, have fun, make smoke, be loud, be crazy looking. It's just a fun car. All right, Bottle Rocket. So I got the head back from the machine shop, reassembled that, and I just need to button everything else up around it. This setup here is going to stay in the car for at least the early part of the year. I've got a race against Dr. Artness Turbo Ranger with this thing, and I want to do some 60-foot testing with this because it's severely lacking on this 60-foot. This thing is all over the place. It's just, so I got to work on suspension settings. I got to work on tire pressure and stuff like that. So I just want to take it out and just spend a day just making 60s. And hopefully we'll do that sometime March, maybe early April. It's all over the place. I'm throwing away a ton of ET with the thing. It's all over the place. So we need to get the launch of this car refined, and then the plan for this year is to team up with Andy Woods from Unity Motorsports Garage and hit a race or two, no prep race. So for that, I'm building this, which is it's together right now, but it's not really together. This is all got to come apart. I got to race prep the block and lots of things to do with this. It's going together with bigger cylinder heads, bigger intake manifold. The one that's in the car now is really it's a grenade. It's just built to just one shot at a time. But if we want to actually go to a race and try to go rounds, I have to build something a little more conventional for it. So that's what we're going to do with this. Lots of tech stuff coming up on this 318 right here. All right, so that's all of those cars. The Belvedere, that's what you came here for, right? The Belvedere, and I've wasted almost 7 minutes of your life talking about all these other cars. All right, so here's where we're at with this thing. She's on the ground, she's a roller, all the brakes are in it, all of that's good. It's missing two things. First, it needs a drive shaft. I had a drive shaft for it. When we hauled this car and all of its parts over to the old shop, I had a drive shaft. Someplace between then and now, over the course of the last year, the drive shaft has disappeared. I have torn my life apart looking for this thing, and I don't have another one to throw in it. I don't even have a car that I could borrow one out of to throw in here at the moment. So I got to get a drive shaft for it. The hunt for that begins as soon as I'm done making this video. And then the second thing it needs a name. It needs a name. I don't have a name for this thing. all of our projects get names. So in the past, a lot of you guys suggested Hank. Call it Hank Hill, propane parts and accessories. Yeah, I know, Hank is a great name, but guys, I absolutely cannot bring myself to name the car Hank. I can't say to myself, yeah, I'm gonna go to the shop and flog on Hank. Oh, no. I need a different name, okay? It can't be a dude's name. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna watch the comments. You guys drop some names on this thing. If you come up with something cool that fits, then we'll use that, and we're gonna send you any shirt you want out of our merch store, UncleTony'sGarage.com. So let's see what you guys can come up with. I can't be at the end of my life looking back and say, I went to the drag strip in a car with no name. I can't do it, it's gotta have a name. So it sounds like a song, doesn't it? See what you can come up with that. All right, now let's talk about the nuts and bolts, what we actually got going on here. Let me preface this by saying this is going to be quite slow. I have absolutely no preconceived notions of this thing like being some kind of drag strip terror or anything like that. The way this is set up right now is strictly for me to learn, because I have never dealt with propane or any type of vapor deal in my life. And the first step here is to learn what it wants, right? So what works and what doesn't. Just become used to the whole thing, so it becomes like a second nature. So the way this is put together right now is just to create a consistent package, something that once I get the basic bugs worked out of it, we can run it and it'll go to A to B, 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 and it'll spit out the same numbers every time. And then once it does that, once we got there, then we can start playing with like timing and just everything under the sun. The way it's set up right now, we've got those single IMCO 425 mixer. So this thing flows 460 CFM. In theory, at least this is what it's rated at, 460 CFM. Now this motor is a 30/361. So that gives me 364, 365 cubic inches or thereabouts. So just spitballing it, 460 CFM, 365 cubic inches. This mixer should support this thing to around 5,000, 52, 5,300, 55 max, and then it's just going to flat run out of atmosphere, right? So knowing this, right now it has a stock converter in it. It's like a street hemi type of converter. It's like a 1900, 2000 RPM converter, and a set of 323s. Now, I absolutely know that it's not going to go fast. I have to keep repeating myself, because as soon as you take this car up, people are going to be like, it's so slow. I know, I'm trying to learn. I want to learn. And the way you learn is by taking simple baby steps. So here are some simple baby steps. Now, I did pick up over the last couple of days, I did pick up another engine that once we determine what this thing wants, and once we can make an educated guess as far as like camshaft, as far as like, you know, just the overall setup of the engine, and build something with 2 mixers so it'll have some actual CFM. Once I get a handle on all of that, I've already got the core engine that we're going to build to what we think it's going to need, and then we'll try to go fast. But I don't have a time frame on that. One step at a time. Let's just make this thing work. So we got the mixer on there. I very rarely put air cleaners on anything, but I don't have a hood for this car, and I don't want to put a hood on it until I'm confident working with the propane. Like, I don't need the stuff all sealed up, if you know what I mean, right? So I'm good running it just the way it is. Doesn't need a hood, but it does need some kind of air cleaner. So all I did here was, it's got, the top of the mixer has a very odd shape to it. So all I did here was I stuck a velocity stack under there, and then this, you know, old air cleaner just stuck on top of it. And that'll do the job. It'll keep the rain out of the thing. That's all I really care about for right now. And we've run the engine here. Everything functions fine. I've run this engine. I mean, it's probably got a good half hour or so worth of running time here in the shop, and everything functions the way it should. I think I showed you this stuff before, but we ran what would have been the heater hoses, you know, in a regular car for the heater core. We ran those to the mixer, and it circulates water just fine. This thing gets nice and toasty. There's no icing up or anything like that. It's got just a regular single point distributor in here right now. I mean, it's as straightforward a thing as possible. Nice big yellow coil, ballast resistor, and that's like the whole of the ignition system. You know, one wire runs the car. That's one of the things I love about this propane thing. Like, you have no idea how happy it makes me that, like, there's no electrical component to the fuel system. It's just a gas going from the tank to the, you know, to the engine. I love that. So I want an electrical system, an ignition system that kind of matches it. You know, like, Luddite, me? Yes. So very, very simple and straightforward. So I talked about the engine, the trans, the rear. Okay. So I says right now I'm just still connecting all kinds of stuff. The battery is going to get mounted in a box behind the seat right over here. So this way I don't have to have the battery back there in the tank or in the trunk with the propane tank. Maybe I'm paranoid with this thing. I don't know. I've never dealt with a gas, you know, gas engine, you know, propane. I've never dealt with this before, so I don't really know what to expect. And maybe I'm being overcautious in a few ways. And then again, maybe I'm not. I don't know. We're going to find out. So, batteries get mounted there. Over the last couple of days, let's see. All right, we got the seat mounted in there. Boy, am I cheap. I picked up a set of these gauges off Amazon for like $16. I went to the swap meet and picked up this Hurst shifter for, oh God, I think I paid $40 for it with the cable and all of that. And I just welded it to the floor last night. So that's all good to go. Here's the entirety of the car's electrical system at the moment. starter button, ignition on and off. There you go, that's all we need. That sort of stuff just makes my soul happy, I gotta tell you. I think that covers all of that. Now, so when you pick up a random shifter at the swap meet, and it doesn't come with the arms, you know, like all little linkage arms, it came with a cable, but that's what I gotta do right now is figure out which of these is gonna give me the right ratio from the transmission to the shifter that I just picked up. So that's tonight. Also, I picked up fuel line for it. So I just got it temporarily connected right now, but it's going to go something like this, and then I got to run it down here as far away from the exhaust and anything that moves as possible. I needed 16 feet. I estimated 16 feet to get from the mixer to the tank in the back, but I got 20. So this way I don't have, I have plenty of extra, but this way I don't have to worry about it being pulled too tight or cut any corners in terms of routing it, because I want it to be as far away from any hazards. Okay, maybe I am paranoid with this. I don't know. I'm probably paranoid. I want to keep it as much out of harm's way as possible. The tank, so I mounted this tank bracket here. I need to come up with something in the back to hold it stable. So the tank is just going to lay in here like this with the valve like right here. Now I didn't mount it in the center because I also want to be able to drop a fuel cell in here, so that this way we could do back-to-back gasoline versus carburetor and so on and so forth. So that's why I mounted that off to the side, and then I'm leaving this side vacant for a nitrous bottle. So not finished setting up the trunk just yet, but I have the basics of what I need to actually run the car and go out with it. So that's where we're at with this. I can't think of anything else significant to talk about other than I need to go find a freaking drive shaft, because I don't know what happened to the drive shaft. And that's the update. The next time you see this thing, it'll be outside making some kind of racket. And from there, I don't know exactly. But like I said, March 22nd, track opens. We'll be out there with Mission Improbable for sure, and possibly this thing as well. So we'll see how that goes. So there's the update from Club UTG and all of our stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.